Hi, this is Allie from Allie Katz Crafts. I'm here to show you another video tutorial on the Sunrise Sailing Bundle. Here's the card for today. This is the inside. And here's the envelope along with the flap. I did a video a few days ago of this card that used the embossing folder to make it. Okay, and again, the inside. Okay, so I wanted to show you. When I did that last video, I forgot to put embellishments on it, so here they are. Sorry about that. Today, we will be using Secret Street inks, Boho Blue, Balmy Blue, Crushed Curry, Timid Tiger, and Poppy Parade. That's the inks we're going to be using. We'll also be using the marker, Secret Sea. We'll be using the stamp set, Sunrise Sailing. Put that back a little. And we will not be using the sentiments. We'll be using different pieces of it though. This is the embossing folder in case you didn't see my video last week. You take and put your sailboat in there, and this will emboss and die cut. Today, I'm going to do just die cutting. Well, actually I should say, I already die cut it. So that's the part that I'm going to be doing right now, okay? The other things we'll be needing is a cut board, another stamp set so I can bring in this particular sailboat. And on the Horizon stamp set, we're going to say, thanks for everything. So I'm changing my sentiment. Okay? We will also need an X-Acto knife. And of course, we'll need the stamps and a scrap piece of paper and diamond dots for my embellishments. And you can probably see them right there. Up here is a pink piece of paper with all the measurements. So if you want to write that down or take a picture, you can. So here's my sailboat that I stamped and dyed already. This is my scrap paper that we're going to need. We have our envelope, our card base, which is 4.5 by 11 folded in half. Night of Navy, which is our first layer. 4 2/16 by 5 5/16. Second layer, Boho Blue, 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. Third layer, white, 3.5 by 4.5. And of course, this one. You'll see what that's for. First step, you're gonna die cut, stamp it out first, which I could demonstrate so that you will know what to do. Let me get my, here I have a scrap right here. I'll use that one. So you'll get your Secret Sea ink out, and you'll start with the sailboat stamp. Ink it up, 1, 2, 3. I always stamp it, at least tap it 3 times. Put it down on your paper, hold it down for a few seconds, and lift it up. Perfect image. Close up the ink. I have dropped many things on my ink thing, so I always clean off the ink of my sailboat so it doesn't get stained. Some pinks are always stained and reds and stuff, but this Secret Sea doesn't seem to stain it, which is really nice. The next step, you'll take your die cut and you'll die cut it. I've already done that. The next thing, you're going to grab out your little cutting mat and your sailboat and your X-Acto knife. You're then going to cut out this center spot. See how it's white? And if you notice on the card, notice how you can see the sunset in the background? Because I cut out that center. So you need, just like I did in the last video, be very careful with your X-Acto knife. Because you got to kind of press hard. And just cut out that little white section in there. Take your time. Be careful you don't cut your fingers. So back a long time ago, before I was married, I was a window tinner. And I used to have to cut out tint with windows. So I'd hold down my ruler like this, and one day I cut my finger right there. So that's why I'm saying you gotta be careful. See, it's all kind of short there. Because I cut it off. And let me tell you, it did not feel good. So I learned my lesson about being very careful how you use your knives. Which I knew, just the knife slid off onto the onto me off the mat. I was just pressing a little bit too hard. So there you go. See how I got rid of that white? That's what you're doing. That's why you did that. And I used the secret C for that. That's why the marker. Okay? So once you've done that, you now want to, in order to make this sun in the background, to get it really nice, you will then take that top piece of paper, and I have a punch that's 1 3/4, and you will, I like to do mine upside down so I can see what I'm doing. Punch it in the middle. Save this. You can use this for sentiments or whatever. Okay. So now you're going to take this card because you need to make that sunset or sunrise, whichever you want to choose. So I just put it on the bottom there. I will take my crushed curry ink first, and we're going to do some ink blending. And I will grab my yellow brush. I don't have named, I know by color. So you will take, let me get a little bit closer for this. Take and ink up your brush, and when you do this, you got to figure out where you want the sun. So one way to do it is to put this at the bottom and see how your sailboat is going to probably be about right there. See? And see how I have it up a little higher. So what I think I'll do is I'll drop it down a little bit more. You can do it like this too. So put your boat where you want it, okay? Then lay that wherever you want it. I like to hold it with my left hand, so I kind of want it about right there. So the sun will be wherever my boat is. So you just decide where you want it. I like it right there. So I remove my boat. And we'll move that out of the way. Swirl that around. Then I go off on that. And I just swirl around. Because I'm making the yellow part. So you can go as dark or as light as you want. That's all I really want. So then, grab my orange brush. Close that one up. Get my Tinted Tiger out. Now, I only want to go part of it. So now I'm going to grab this, go in there, and just go just a little bit. Now, if you go too much, it'll be too dark in one spot. And notice how I go off? There's a reason why. So that you don't go too dark. You want to, because you, watch this. When I go like that, see that mark? That's what you get in there if you don't. So I think that's what I want. So watch what happens. Voila. Isn't that a pretty sun? So the sun is done. Close up the ink. Next step, you want to get out your 2 inks because I got a little bit of stuff there. I have 2 sides to work with. That's the cool thing about this. I need to be careful next time. So where did I put that? Okay, I have another one that I punched. So I know I want it about right there, right? Yep. So I'm going to grab that. I'll do it again. The thing about paper, Stampin' Up! Paper, and other brands don't really do this, but Stampin' Up! Is good. You could take and just turn it over. You always have 2 sides. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to be more careful to stay away from that little edge there. So I'm going to ink it up. I really like this yellow, the crushed curry. I still struggle with trying to remember the names. I kind of remember, but kind of don't. This is Timid Tiger. Go back in with the Timid Tiger. Okay. And just do the bottom half. And you notice how I'm starting off down there in the bottom again? I don't go up there. Okay, and I got my sun again. And I didn't make my mistake. Okay, so the next thing you do is you get your boho blue. And you'll need your waves out of the stamp set. And I like to take just a little scratch paper up under here. Okay. And you will ink up. Put some waves across there, and then you're gonna go up again. One more. Okay? Then the next step, clean it off. You want to grab the balmy blue, because I really like mixing two colors. It makes it look like the ocean, because you know the ocean has a couple colors in it, not just one. So then go in with that and that, so you can see the different variations. See? So close that one up and clean off the ink. The next step we will take and we're going to stamp that. So get out my little stamps, and then I'm going to use the Poppy Parade for this. Let me set this aside. And you want to stamp the sail. The thing about the sail is you want to line up right there so it's still on the black a little bit. So it makes, whoops, see? Oh, that did not get very good there. But guess what? Because it's a clear stamp, you can see where you went and do it again. I should have held it down. I didn't do my rule. There we go. See? And then I'll clean that off. And notice how it's pink, because I've used red inks and pink inks and different things on it. So it'll change colors. So here's the bottom of the boat, and we'll do the same thing. Grab it and line it up the best we can. You can see through it, which is nice. Hold it down, and you get a nice image. Okay? So the boat is ready, the sunset is ready, and let me see. Oh, now we're going to kind of set our sailboat where we want it. I think right about there this time. And you can see the sun in the background. Notice that? So now that I have set up, I'm going to grab the Secret Sea and the birds. Because I want to put my birds on there. And I need to know where to put them. The only way to know is to set my sailboat on there. So I know the sailboat's going to go right there. So let's put a bird right there. And a bird right there. And how about a bird right there? Okay? I like that. So we have our birds. Clean off my stamp. So let's do our sentiment. So I have to get a small piece of paper, which here it is. I forgot to cut it. So always save my scraps. So I cut my paper down, and I'll get my stamp, which is right here. Make sure that it will fit, which yes it does, and I can always cut it down. So I will take Secret Sea and I'm going to stamp that down. And I want to put it close to the bottom because I'm going to trim it. Thanks for everything. I like this stamp. It's one of my favorite ones. When you want to thank somebody for something, or they gave you multiple things, and you can say, thanks for everything. It's just a fun stamp. So now that you did that, I need to cut it down a little bit smaller and get my paper cutter out and line it up, I think. There. Make sure it's even. There we go. I like that. That's a good size. So now I will just trim that like that. A little bit closer. And that one. Like that. And I'll bring back my scrap paper in. Grab this ink right here, the balmy blue, with my brush, and make the sides have some pretty color. Okay. Okay, now we're ready to put the card together. Ooh, this is the best part. So you're going to grab your glue. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that first. I'm going to first put my boat down. That flew somewhere. I'll find it later. I'm not worried about it. But it always comes back. So I try and spread them out. You don't need a whole lot, but you need to have it stand up so it doesn't like fold up on your thing. But you don't want to put too much on it because you want it to go through the mail. Makes a difference. I cut up all my little edges. So then I'll pull off the backs. Almost there. I had nails and then I had some issues and they kind of broke off and I was very sad. So now I don't have the nails that I used to have, and so it's hard to grab things. So I got my boat all set up there, and I think I will glue this down flat, the sentiment, and put that right there on the water. And you can tell that's a scrap paper. Notice how there's some coloring there. You know what? I'm liking it better up here. Yeah, I'm going to do something different, okay? Change my mind. You know, we could do that. I have a better idea. Because I don't want it in the water after all. So I think I will do this. Maybe there or there. I think right. Let me see how far everything goes. Oh, I like it down there. Okay, so I'm going to do right there. And then do this. And I am not afraid to cut up my sentiments. Okay. And my glue needs to be re-glued a little bit because it's dry. Okay, thanks for everything. Oh, I like it there. That is so perfect. Then I'm going to grab my brush and just do a little bit of brushing on it. Okay? And then we're going to do the sky a little bit, all around the boat, a tiny bit in there. So it has just a little bit of a blue tinge. See? Okay? So now, the next step, I have a little trash can next to me. Get rid of all these dots. We're almost done. So now we're going to take our main cardstock, the back, the part that's, I don't know, the base. Sorry about that. My mind just went blank there for a second. Take the base and we're going to glue on the back. Place the first layer. Line it up and put it down. And you have a couple seconds to move it if it's not perfect. And I think it looks pretty good. Put the second layer. The first one's Night of Navy. This one is boho blue. Put that down. Make sure it's nice and centered where you want it. Okay, and the last layer is the one with all the stuff on it. And you can see our mess up, but it's going to be covered up. It's not a big deal. And I see something that I need to trim. That was overhanging a tiny bit. So we'll center this, looking down straight over the top of it. And the card is done. Okay, so now we need to decorate the inside. So we're open up the card. We're going to bring back that wave again. And we're going to bring back in the boho blue. And I don't need a background because the card base is perfect. I do need to get rid of that. Stamp that once and twice. And we have a beautiful little ocean going on there. Clean off my stamp. And we're going to go to our sailboat that's from the other just dropped it, stamp set, and we'll do that. Nice little boat. Okay, so that's the inside. So let's decorate the envelope. We're going to grab that wave again, get that boho blue, and we're going to make some waves on the flap. You need to clean that ink off, otherwise you get it everywhere. Trust me, I know. And we'll grab our sailboat again and put that in the middle. And we'll do the same thing to this side. Okay, close up the ink, clean it off, it's all clean. Grab my little sailboat. Now in the envelope, I like to do it over here on this side because usually you address it right there. So there's our envelope. Okay, so we have our card. I had to find which card I made. And the inside done, and the envelope. So there's the tutorial for this card. And thank you again, Lori, for the beautiful bundle that you gave me. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for watching my video.